Yes, guys. Right, I've got a very interesting piece of content for you today, and it's a question that a lot of people generally ask, and that is, how do you become an actor in 2022? Now, obviously, quite a few years ago, that was a very, very different proposition. In 2022, things have changed. So I'm going to go through two main kind of aspects to this. One is the traditional way, and two, in 2022, things have changed. The kind of landscape has changed. And I'm going to take you through that as well. All right, how to be or become an actor in modern times in 2022, and it's exciting, and it's kind of leveled the playing field a bit as well. Okay, so let's talk about the traditional sense, and it is still alive and it is still well. So people would generally go for education. They would probably have an interest in acting, go to a theatre school, usually as a child growing up, and then when they got to 18, they would go to a drama school. A drama school usually in London, like RADA or East 15. There are many of them. And from there, they would come out fully fledged, fully trained, and they would get an agent. That's if they haven't already got an agent. And they would be there then put out to the industry as being a kind of new kid on the block. That's still alive and well. That still works, and that's still kind of in a very traditional sense. That's the kind of route that always kind of took place in this country. But things have changed. I think personally for the better, purely due to the fact that, without getting too political, to be able to afford to go to a London drama school, traditionally you had to be very, very well off. So there weren't opportunities for maybe working class actors, maybe from the north of England, and the opportunities weren't particularly spread around. I think personally that the kind of more modern way of making it as an actor, I think works just as well, and I think it levels the playing field a bit. So the kind of modern way of how to become an actor is part-time acting schools with agencies, a bit like my own, Matt Zina Acting. People will generally go and train up in their part-time, in their own time. Evenings, weekends, they'll go and attend acting schools. And if you're lucky, that acting school may have an agency, and they will, you will start to set up a CV. You will start to go for roles. You'll start to get on Spotlight, because you can get on Spotlight, which is a online platform where most of the jobs are cast, and you will start to be able to go and seek and get roles as soon as you start training. So you get that CV going. It's like being a mechanic. You get straight under the bonnet, and you effectively start the job straight away, and you learn on the job as well as part of the part-time acting school. I think that this is level the playing field, because obviously certainly organisations like mine and others are affordable. They don't they don't cost a lot of money to be. You don't have to live in London. You don't have to kind of, in the traditional sense, get into a lot of debt. And you can train and you can get work as you go. So that's how you can become an actor very, very quickly. Now, let's go on and kind of go into some of the finer detail. The modern kind of state of this industry is changing. The landscape's changing all of the time. So we're finding now that there's other ways of becoming an actor, like becoming a personal brand. If you've learned how to act, a lot of casting directors, producers are looking at people's ability to market themselves, because obviously these projects are businesses. So if you can get to a certain level of acting and also show this ability in business and becoming a business person and seeing yourself as a business and maybe developing a personal brand around you and your acting career, that's going to get you the way that the industry is going. That's going to get a lot of noise around you. That's going to get a lot of people to know who you are. That's going to get certain casting decisions made as well at the minute around the fact that you can bring an audience to a producer's project and therefore get a lot of eyes on it. There's various different ways and routes to which people become an actor. Also, we've got a lot of inclusivity now, based on gender, race. It's all about equality, and so everybody has the opportunity to become an actor from any background. It's not just about the traditional route. It's not just about the fact that you can attend a part-time organisation. You do need an element of training, obviously. It's a tough job, okay? But the fact is you can get a certain level of training, you can become an actor. I'm going to let you into a secret now. When you get that audition, you've proved that you can act to a certain level. And when you get into that audition, you usually find that everyone there can act. Everyone there can do a job. What is it that's setting you aside from another person? Is it the fact that you've been to RADA, or is it the fact that you've trained at a part-time acting school like MZA? Probably not. It's based on your personality traits, what you bring to the role. It's based on so many different value areas, and even now, including your ability to market yourself, personal brand, bring an audience to a project. There's so many different parameters in 2022 that are really getting actors to succeed, and it's not just the traditional route. Okay, I will say it once more: the traditional route is still alive and well, but this industry is about as inclusive as it has ever been, which is amazing. Which has actually brought so many more routes into the industry for actors. And actually, if you really are going to get smart, you have to think about the things that nobody else is doing, and you have to be transient and think, right, what can I do? What's going to be my route into this industry? And this is something that I speak about a lot. You've got to look for those avenues, and it usually comes from the kind of business element of it. What can I do to market myself and my brand? Because if anything, if there's one thing that the traditional routes don't teach, the big drama schools where you have to pay a lot of money to go, the one thing that I don't feel that they particularly teach, and this is just my opinion, is marketing, branding, the business of acting. 2022, being a personal brand as an actor, getting a lot of noise around you, being able to get eyes on projects that you're involved with. That's the future of acting, because it's a massive marketplace out there with lots of different productions looking for attention in a crowded marketplace. Netflix, YouTube, Amazon Prime, all sorts of different organizations, maybe not the right word, but different platforms with different bits of content trying to vie for attention. And if you're one of these people that can get a lot of eyes on you and what you are involved in, you are a massive commodity to these organizations, companies, platforms. All right, so that is a brief rundown of how to become an actor in 2022. If you've got any comments, make sure that you drop them, and I'll try and answer each and every question, comment. But thank you so much for watching.